Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is the 2025 NASCAR Playoff schedule. We have Darlington, Gateway. I'm never calling it Worldwide Technology Raceway. That is, I don't care how much you pay for the sponsorship, guys. I'm not calling a racetrack Worldwide Technology Raceway, okay? Just stop paying for the sponsorship. It's never going to work. Gateway, Bristol, New Hampshire, Kansas, Roval, Vegas, Dega, Martinsville, Phoenix, right there at the bottom. This is from Jordan Bianchi's article on The Athletic. I'm not going to share that with you guys because obviously The Athletic is my favorite journalism, company, website, whatever you want to call it, and it is behind a paywall, so I want you guys to support it. I've been supporting The Athletic now for like 3 to 4 years because that's where I read my Arsenal journalism stuff, so I would say go support them. But yeah, we're just going to have a discussion today, guys. Just me and you, everyone. We're just going to have a discussion, and listen, I'm not angry with this at all. I'm not. You guys might be like, why is Gateway there? Why is New Hampshire there? Why, whatever. No, I don't care. It does not matter to me. It's okay. And I think I'm going to be very reasonable today, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to have a discussion about this. That's all we're going to have a discussion about is the NASCAR playoffs and the future of it, because this is the 2025 playoffs. Now, off the top of my head, I'll be honest, I can't even tell you what the 2024 playoff schedule is. When I get to the schedule, it's more like when I get there, and then it kind of the memory kicks in. Like, I know Martinsville is the last race of the round of 8. I know the Roval's in there. I know Phoenix is the championship race. I know Dega's in there. I know Bristol's in there. But like other than that, it gets a little bit fuzzy, and I have to get reminded of what's going on. A schedule that changes on a year-by-year basis in the playoffs, again, I don't care. That's fine. That's fine by me. It doesn't matter what one way or another, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that I care about, that you guys know I care about, that I have talked about multiple times, and again, we are going to talk about in a calm and respectful manner today, is that one right there. The championship race at Phoenix Raceway. But Radman, it was nothing when it was at Homestead. It has to rotate, a single race. It can't just be at Phoenix all the time. Oh, but Phoenix is great. We should keep it at Phoenix. No, we should go back to Homestead. No. We should rotate it on a track-by-track basis. Every track should host the championship race once, so that way, you don't have this competitive issue of maybe that's a really strong track for one driver and they can never win the championship because they're not good at that one particular track. It's not fair. All these different reasons, and none of them are what I want to say, and all those reasons, again, I don't care about. Homestead Miami Speedway is my home track. Homestead Miami Speedway is an hour away from where I live. I can go to Homestead Miami Speedway every single year if I wanted to. I don't care if that's the championship race or not. In my opinion, it does not matter to me, and honestly, Homestead needs to upgrade the facilities anyways. The facilities at Homestead are very outdated and not very good. This should not exist. That is my point. That is what we're going to be talking about today. We've talked about it before. To be honest, if you guys agree with me or not, I will debate you, but you are not ever going to change my stance on this. I will change stances on so many things when it comes to NASCAR. I will give things a chance, change my opinion on this, be open to that. I'm a very open and forgiving man. When it comes to a single race championship, I have been forever. And, without change, without hesitation, without, being sitting on the fence or anything, I am not a fan of this. It makes absolutely no sense for the sport. And in my opinion, out of everything that NASCAR has done in a positive direction, the one thing that still dumbfounds me to this day is why they decide to stick with this when the creator of this doesn't exist in NASCAR anymore. He has disappeared. So why do you feel the need for sticking with something that was another man's fetish, another man's idea, another man's, I hate to say this, Game 7 moment? If I have to go into it again, why NASCAR can't have Game 7 moments, because a Game 7, ladies and gentlemen, is when two teams play against each other over and over and over, and they just, after 6 games, they're still tied up, so they just say, all right, we can't do this forever. Game 7. Game 7 moment. It does not happen every year. It is special. It's not supposed to happen every year, and it's supposed to be kind of repetitive, and the reason why there's a Game 7 is because it's getting too repetitive. You guys are too close. You're battling too much. It's like football's own version of a penalty shootout, but it's one full game. It's like, all right, you know what, guys? There you go. NASCAR, you can't have a Game 7 moment every year. It's not Game 7. So every time I hear the NBC direction of, guys, we're going to have our Game 7 moment because someone told Rick Allen and someone's going to tell Lee Diffie and someone's going to tell Steve Letarte and someone's going to tell Jeff Burton in their ear, hey, guys, remember to mention the Game 7 moment, I'm going to want to stab a knife in my eye and act like I'm Deadpool and I could just regenerate. Game 7s don't exist in motorsport. They don't. You want to debate that with me or something? You can debate it. They don't exist. They never will exist because you naturally cannot create a Game 7 moment in NASCAR. It's actually impossible. You can't do it since there's not two teams battling each other over the course of a long series. That's not how it works. Now, we don't talk about this man anymore. We don't. We don't talk about him, but this is the man that created the NASCAR playoffs. He's the man that created the chase for the cup. And you might sit here and might be wondering, Radman, be careful of what you say. I'm not attacking this man at all. At all. I have absolutely no problems with Mr. France. He is not around anymore for personal reasons. He's not in charge of NASCAR. He's not associated with NASCAR anymore. It is now in Jim France's hands. He's not here. My point is, he created the playoffs. He created the chase for the cup. He created the wildcard system. He created the elimination format. It was him. He's the one that wanted it. He is the one that someone couldn't explain to him, hey, Game 7s in NASCAR don't work. It's understandable. We all have, problems of understanding specific things in sport. I get it. Listen, he was just a man in power, a man with a lot of money, and he wanted to make something that he believed in. And you know what? He honestly had the right intentions, to be honest, because what I'm about to say later in this video, you'll see it's something very similar to what he actually created. But the point is, in 2014, when he created this, he was in charge of NASCAR. In 2024, Brian France has absolutely nothing to do with NASCAR. You don't need to stick around with his idea or his vision of what the NASCAR playoffs should be called or presented as or whatever. This is what it looks like, right? You have a round of 16, a round of 12, a round of 8, a championship 4. Ryan Blaney ends up winning the championship. It's called the playoffs. Okay, well, people complain about the next-gen car. People complain about, ratings. People complain about tires and Goodyear. People complain about no practice. People complain about NASCAR officiating. People complain about how the weather apparently hates NASCAR, which we're actually going to see at Richmond because there's a literal tropical storm that's going to affect the racetrack in the race this weekend. People complain about all these things, right? And some of them are in NASCAR's control, some of them are not. Some of them to you might be a really major problem, and some of them to other people like me, it doesn't really matter. I just made an entire video last week talking about the next-gen car and how it is fundamentally broken, but I think it's fixable. I don't think it's like top priority, biggest issue NASCAR has. The next-gen car is a good concept. It's a good idea. It just has problems, and the problems came at a really bad time when NASCAR was actually changing their schedule towards certain racetracks where the Gen 6 car was actually performing, which was short tracks and road courses. And unfortunately, when they made the next-gen car, when they were adding the more road courses and they were adding the more short tracks, that car reverted back and sadly is not very good at short tracks and road courses. It's very unfortunate. It happens. It's a mistake. Hopefully in the future it can be fixed. And also, I don't think anyone is ignorant to it. No one is sitting there like, oh yeah, the next-gen car is perfect. No driver will say that. No team will say that. And NASCAR officials, while they can't talk, they can't, what's the word? What action's detrimental to stock car racing? They can't actively come out and say, oh yeah, we have a major issue with the next-gen car. No one's ever going to say that involved in NASCAR. It is PR, marketing purposes. You can't say that. You can't bring any negativity towards your brand. And in reality, the negativity is a little bit overblown. There are ways to fix it, and I'm hoping in the next few years that it will be fixed. And like I said, then people have something else to complain about with the car. NASCAR fans will never be happy. That's never going to happen. All right, so it's always like a running problem-solving equation you have to just try and keep up with. This has not been changed in a very long time. This is something of a concept or an idea that is just not necessary anymore. If there was one thing I had to change about NASCAR, it would be this. It would be this. It'd be exactly this. And I think a lot of you agree with me because it fundamentally impacts the history of the sport. It fundamentally impacts how 30 years, 40 years, 50 years from now, we will look at the legends of NASCAR. It fundamentally impacts the credibility, the integrity of NASCAR. And it fundamentally impacts that little thing sitting above my head, which, by the way, that design is honestly very boring, but it fundamentally impacts that trophy and the value and the meaning of it and the fact that you can have drivers and teams come out and crew chiefs say, I'd rather win the Daytona 500 than win a NASCAR Cup Series championship. And a lot of people can say that, but it's very likely true right now. I would rather win the Daytona 500 than the Cup Series championship. That trophy does not define anyone as a driver. Kyle Larson is the greatest NASCAR driver right now in the sport. He has one championship. Only one, okay? He has only one championship. Logano has more. Kyle Busch has more. But Larson is the best, one championship. Then you go in the record books, and it's like, oh, Jimmy has 7. Gordon has 4. Earnhardt has 7. Brett Petty has 7. Yarbrough has a ton. All these guys have a ton of championships. No one is reaching those numbers. Nobody. If this is the format. So every great, Larson, Blaney, if he's a great, Bell, if he's a great, Ty Gibbs, if he ever becomes a great, they're never touching those numbers because this is way too much of a lottery to win if it's decided in one race. This is the 2006 Chase for the Cup roster. You have Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Harvick, Johnson, Gordon, Kenseth, Martin, Jr., Kane, and Jeff Burton. 10 drivers, stellar field. Sorry, Tony Stewart, you didn't make it. And this was Brian France's idea. Don't get anything wrong. Brian France created this concept. He created, by the way, that trophy as well. Beautiful. The chase for the Nextel Cup. Obviously, then became the chase for the Sprint Cup, and then it became chase for the Cup. But the point is, NASCAR had identity. There was only one phrase that could describe NASCAR's playoffs, and it was directly unique to them. Chase for the Cup. Never, ever, 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 ever underestimate, guys, how powerful marketing is for a sport. Marketing is one of the most powerful things that you could ever imagine when you're trying to grow your sport. And when you come with something as so unique and so fitting to your sport, I'm a motorsport. We race cars. We go as fast as we can. We have a trophy that we can call a cup, just like the Stanley Cup or any other trophy, any other cup, and we chase it. We literally race for it. And any casual who knows nothing about NASCAR, if they sometimes hear chase for the cup, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, you get brand recognition. Next thing you know, the chase for the cup is permanently associated with your brand as NASCAR, and you have brand recognition that sponsors want to come and other brands want to come and partner with you, generating overall greater health for the sport. It sounds crazy, but just the name itself, why it's now called NASCAR Playoffs, I'm sorry, it ain't going to be NASCAR Playoffs presented by Coca-Cola, NASCAR Playoffs presented by AT&T, NASCAR Playoffs presented by DraftKings, gamble responsibly. NASCAR Playoffs presented by Kellogg's. No, I'm sorry. It ain't going to be like that because there's no recognition with NASCAR Playoffs. I don't know. It's the same as the NFL Playoffs, the NBA Playoffs, the NHL Playoffs, the MLS Playoffs. Welcome to America. We call everything playoffs. You had it, NASCAR. You had it. Brian France had a good idea, and it worked with the sponsorship at the time when it was Nextel and Sprint. You didn't lose the rights for Chase for the Cup. It's still there. You can still use it. You don't have to keep it yellow. You don't need to keep it yellow. If you don't want to keep it yellow, that's fine. You can change the color. Chase for the Cup. Keep it. Now, what else did this have? Do you notice? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drivers, NASCAR. 10 drivers. We are on NASCAR's official website now, and you can see this is the top 30 of playoff drivers, and the 16 drivers make the playoffs. Now, I just want to go through this. all right, nice and calmly, to explain why you can generate so much more interest in your sport throughout the season instead of always allowing so many drivers in. So, first of all, win and you are in. On the right side above my head, you can see a checkered flag. That means they've won a race. Okay. Let's go through the names. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Suarez, Cindric, Truex, Gibbs, Buescher, Chastain. Okay, that's just the top 16. Championship contenders in that name for this season: Larson 1, Hamlin 2, Byron 3, Bell 4, Blaney 5, Elliott 6, Reddick 7, Keselowski maybe, Bowman most likely not, Logano if Penske get their act together, yes, so we're gonna go 8. Suarez no, Cindric no, Truex maybe at 9. Gibbs, no. Buescher, no. Chastain, no. Okay, so like genuine championship contenders, we have like 9 probably. You could, maybe throw in Keselowski, maybe throw in Bowman. Anyone else down here that you can actively call a championship contender? No, not Bubba Wallace, not Briscoe, not Kyle Busch, who's had one of the worst seasons ever, and he's still only 3 spots away from making it. Todd Gilliland, no. And then you get into like the smaller teams. McDowell, SHR is shutting down. Hocevar, Stenhouse, Priest. Okay, so here's my point, guys. Literally, the top 20, even within the top 20 drivers, I can name off Kyle Busch with RCR, nope. Briscoe, nope. Gilliland, nope. So we're at 17. Bubba Wallace, nope. Buescher, nope. Chastain, with current Trackhouse Racing, you could put him on a line maybe, but still borderline Cindric, no. Suarez, no. Bowman, no. So what do we got? Like 13, 12, whatever it is of realistically, like any shot with a championship. Like they might, Alex Bowman, maybe. If Alex Bowman gets hot, Hendrick Motorsports, yeah, okay, we can understand that. But everybody else, I will also throw in Chastain, because Chastain has made the Final Four before, and it's just the performance of the team right now. The team's not doing well. But here's my point. My point is, with 16 drivers, guys, the anticipation of making the playoffs is completely gone. And you need to actually, and this is something that NBA just changed, because the NBA saw this. The NBA saw, okay, we have 8 teams make the playoffs in each conference, but it feels kind of boring. Like once you get to seed 4, 5, seed 3, you get to like the last 10 games of the regular season, no one's really playing for anything. So what they did is they then eliminated 2 spots in each conference. So now the top 6 guarantee you into the playoffs. That's 6 from the East, 6 from the West, out of a total of 30 teams. So a 12 to 30 ratio. 7 and 8 have to go into a play-in. So technically, you don't make the playoffs in seed 7 or 8 anymore. And the reason why they did this is the same reason why the NFL have what they have, where it's 7 from each conference. And it's because it is important to make it hard to make the playoffs. Nobody should be given a pass to make the playoffs and prioritize everything in the playoffs because you have such a long season. So as soon as somebody wins a race and you are locked in, like, where's his name? Austin Cindric over here. Austin Cindric, nobody in their right mind is going to say Austin Cindric is going to win a championship, but he is going to take up a playoff spot. And that is because he won a race. There is no reason for this to be the case. You should not have to win a race and then you are in. And NASCAR's reasoning for this is that it makes the regular season races, more chaotic, or, it doesn't let you ride around for a top 5. Well, NASCAR, look at the landscape of motorsports now. You have to look at your own product. You don't need this anymore. NASCAR already is take. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. No one is riding around for points anymore. You don't even need this. The race win is a race win. We all know how valuable a race win is. You don't need this. They will race for the win just as hard as they always do. Nothing is going to change. Get rid of winning you're in. Go back to normal points. Let's go to regular season points here. So we go to regular season points. You're going to see Larson, Elliott, Reddick, Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, Truex. Now, where are the guys that are locked in, right? All right, so we have guys that I say are probably not doing great. Cindric, Suarez, Chastain, right? So let's take a look. Where are they? So Bowman's in 10th, doing a little bit better than I thought. Chastain is in 13th. Suarez is in 17th, outside the top 16. Cindric is in 19th, okay? Let's look at just Cindric. I just want to point out his stats. Let's see. Top 10s. We'll go top 10s for Austin Cindric. He has 3. Austin Cindric has 3 top 10s, okay? 3. I repeat. 3! All right? Ty Gibbs has 9. 9 top 10s, okay? And this is the playoff picture. So, Ty Gibbs is 42 ahead, right? And Cindric is advanced because of a race winning you're in. You are just devaluing. You're devaluing what. This is more important than you should think. Like, this at the moment, I will look at Larson and I will look at Elliott and I'll look at Reddick. Okay, that's the point differential for those 3. I pay attention to that. Everything here does not matter at all. It doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Screw all this nonsense. None of this matters, right? It doesn't matter. I'm sorry for yapping as long as I am, guys. I don't want to talk about this anymore, so that's why I'm yapping. Okay, so what is the best way to make your playoffs better, okay? Well, let's go back and let's take a look at this. What do you notice about this? Young superstar Kyle Busch, young superstar Denny Hamlin, both in their first 2 years. Denny Hamlin's a rookie. Kyle Busch is in his second year in 2006. Kevin Harvick, young superstar. The Hendrick duo superstar of Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. Champion, Matt Kenseth. Jeff Burton, older star. Casey Kane, young up-and-coming star. Mark Martin, NASCAR legend. Dale Earnhardt Jr., star, borderline superstar. He was a superstar. Yes, he was. Dale Jr. was a superstar. Okay, so my point is we have superstars and stars all over here. Now, just off the top of your head, think about 2006 roster. Who's missing? First one I see is Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart was your 2005 champion, and he is not here. That's a big deal. Tony Stewart missing the chase for the cup is a big deal. Who else can you think of? Okay, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, your 2004 champion. So your 2004 and your 2005 chase for the cup champion are not here. They missed out, okay? But look at the star-studded quality you still have here. That's my point. Make it important. You create new storylines. It should be hard to make the playoffs, guys. It should be difficult. Someone else that isn't here. You could think of the two Roush guys. Carl Edwards, 2006, not here. Greg Biffle, 2006, not here. So Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, Rusty Wallace. Was Rusty Wallace still in 2006? No, Kurt Busch was in 2006. Yeah, I don't think so. But, Ryan Newman's not there. That is star-studded quality. Star-studded quality. That rounds out 15, right? All right, so let's take the guys that missed the playoffs and compare them with guys that might miss the playoffs here. Bubba Wallace, is he anywhere near any of the names I just said? No. Chase Briscoe? No. Kyle Busch, in the ride that he is in, he's more like Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, basically. Todd Gilliland. Can we compare him to Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle? Anyone? Carl Edwards? No. Yes? No, we can't. Michael McDowell? No. Barry, Graxon, Host? No. My point here is, guys, there's no anticipation here. There is no anticipation in making the playoffs because Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, these guys can win a championship. Kurt Busch, 2 of them literally won the championship. 2 of them won the championship before in the same format. But Chastain this season, there's no way in God's green earth he's winning it. Buescher, no. Gibbs, no. Bubba Wallace, no. Briscoe, no. Busch, no. Cindric, no. Suarez, no. Bowman, likely no. Keselowski, most likely not. These guys are not realistic shots. There's no reason really for them to be here. It is just making it less important. Now, if you cut the line off here, right here, right at 10, now we're talking. If you remove win and you're in, let's go take a look. Larson, Elliott, Reddick, Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, all superstars of the sport, all super consistent. Should be in. Makes sense. Truex, who hasn't won a race, but look, he's still pretty consistent. He's in the top 10. Bell, Keselowski, and Bowman. Now let's look at the cutoff line. Okay, so now we have Bowman, Gibbs, Buescher, Chastain, Wallace. Oh, what? Look at... Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. Who's that? That's Joey Logano. That's Joey Logano. That is a former two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion that might miss the playoffs. He just won the championship 2 years ago, right? His teammate just won the championship last year, right? Oh my God, he might not make the playoffs. That's a pretty big deal. Oh, but wait. Silly me. Tricks are for kids. Because Joey Logano won, Joey Logano is advanced, and all of that anticipation is thrown right out the goddamn window. And congratulations. Oh, by the way, Daniel Suarez is still in, and Austin Cindric are still in. Where are they? 17th and 19th. They are, how many points behind are they? Of Martin Truex Jr., who's currently not locked in. Let me just try to do math. Over 200 points. If we actually calculate that back to the old point standings, that is probably like 600 points behind in the old point standings. Do you know how stupid this is? This just makes you lose credibility over your entire championship format, because getting into it is so ungodly easy that you can have 3 top 10s and be 19th in the points, but I won a race. There's 26 chances, and because I won one, yeah, baby, let's go. We're in. Oh, it makes me want to blow my head off like I'm in the boys' TV show. NASCAR, think very, very, very closely about how do you generate storylines? How do you generate anticipation? How do you generate competitive, edge and competitive nature in your sport? How do you generate talking points? We've had a 2-week break, and all NASCAR's Twitter account is doing right now is posting nostalgia stuff because there's nothing to talk about. 2-week break in NASCAR, there's nothing to talk about. There are no storylines here. You are not developing anything of a storyline here. Nobody cares right now if Bubba Wallace is going to make the playoffs. He cares, his sponsors care, and his fans care. But other than that, nobody gives a crap. Do you know why? Because Bubba Wallace is simply not performing good enough to realistically have a shot for a championship. It does not exist. It's not there for us. But someone like Joey Logano, who just recently won and we know is a champion now, he's been struggling this season. But the fact that Joey Logano would need a miracle to make it, and Bubba Wallace would be even nowhere near, and now you're moving the storyline to Alex Bowman, who's in Hendrick, to Ty Gibbs, who is at Gibbs and is a young superstar. He's still trying to make the playoffs. Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell is only 2 spots ahead. And Christopher Bell, we look at as one of the superstars of the sport in terms of driving ability. You are now creating those storylines. You're creating that anticipation, that feeling of this matters. I'm going to watch every regular season race. I'm going to watch the point standings. I'm not going to just worry about, Christopher Bell is having a bad day. It doesn't matter. He's locked in. So what? You're just eliminating your storylines. And then when we get into the playoffs, the round of 12 and the round of 8 with all these drivers, it's not what you think you are creating. You think you're creating this 10 race playoff situation where it is like, oh wow, I can have 2 bad races and be out. But realistically, and this, I'm not complaining about this, by the way, it's just realistically, I'm talking about your, natural, anticipation and stuff. The round of 16 doesn't matter, and the round of 12 doesn't really matter. If you are Kyle Larson and you're Denny Hamlin, you're William Byron, you're fine. If you're Christopher Bell, you're okay. Like, you just do what you've been doing, top 10 your way, you are okay. It's not really a big deal. And the point is, and we're going to revert back to what we have to talk about at the end of the day, which is the number one issue with all of this, deciding this championship right here at one racetrack. You have 3 racetracks over there, 3 racetracks, and we've been through iterations. Like I said, 2014 was the ultimate drama and chaos that Brian France wanted. You guys realized it was too crazy, so you added, playoff points. Stage racing came in. Have you noticed I haven't said a single thing about stage racing? It's because stage racing is very, very good. It's smart. If race fans, if you think stage racing ruins your sport or anything, I just want to point this out, that this is regular season with stage points. Look at this. The top 3 are separated by 15 points. Stage points don't ruin anything. Stage racing does not ruin anything. You still have a 43-point gap between the top four. If it was a regular season long championship format like other motorsports, it would be a very cool battle right now, but that's not what I'm advocating for. We'll talk about that in a second. But my point is that stage racing doesn't change anything here. Stage racing is good. There's no reason to get rid of stage racing. You're completely fine, and it's a very good addition. So please do not think stage racing is a problem. And what stage racing does is that throughout the race, stage racing keeps you interested. Okay, there's a stage win in stage 1, there's a stage win in stage 2, but also because there are cautions, we have seen that stage racing has really introduced strategy into a lot of the more of the racetracks where you can't really pass. Stage racing really influences the strategy. So stage racing has been great, right? And so I want to take that comparison with stage racing and introduce it here. So in a race, we have stage racing to make the race throughout the entire race genuinely more compelling and more entertaining. So why, NASCAR, do you have everything decided in one race? Why? I'm throwing your literal ideas right back at you. Stage racing is supposed to make the entire race matter. So why have we made the playoffs only about this? Why? Why? Seriously. Someone answer my question here, because this is where you will not make me budge. This is where I will constantly yell to the rooftops. This is where I will not shut up until we actually change this. Everything else is not that big of a deal to me. This right here, the 10 drivers making the playoffs. If you don't want to do that, if you have your reasons, if it's sponsorship reasons, the teams don't want to lose sponsorship because they don't make the playoffs, okay, I can understand that. You know what? Fine, keep it at 16, whatever. If you want to keep rounds in the playoffs, an elimination style, you could talk about that. We can talk about it. I don't think there's benefits and there's cons, but I don't think there's a right answer, and I'm okay with elimination style in the playoffs. That's fine. If you want to keep 3 race rounds, that's okay. If you want to keep the same eliminations, that's completely fine. Deciding this in one race. This will never be okay. Never. You cannot go through an entire season and do this. Ryan Blaney won the 2023 championship. Logano won 2022. Who was it? Larson won 2021. Elliott won 2020. 2019, I don't even know. But 2019, 2018, 2017, we go all the way back. The randomness of this nonsense it's too much. It's too much. This championship that sits above my head does not mean anything. It does not. Because, guys, if you tell me no matter what I've done throughout the season that I have a 25% chance to win a championship, no matter what I did throughout the entire season, that's not okay. I have better chances of betting my life savings in a game of blackjack than I do in working my ass off in NASCAR to get a championship chance, to win a championship. And at the end of the day, after all my hard work, all my team's hard work, my crew chief, my sponsors, everybody, we've won multiple races in the season. We've dominated. We've done everything we possibly can. We've made it through elimination stuff. I have a 25% chance to win a championship. A flat tire, a blown engine, a caution at the wrong time, any of that. In this one race, 1 second differential on a pit stop, that can really cost me a championship. Are you out? Really, man? Really? This was designed for ratings. That's what this was designed for. Remember I talked about creating storylines or creating, marketing your sport? NASCAR markets everything to here. The problem is nobody cares. The TV ratings for the championship race are not different from any other race. They're not. The highest rated race will always be the Daytona 500, and it goes steadily down from there. But the playoffs are consistent. Phoenix is not higher, not lower. It's consistent with every other race. Nobody cares, NASCAR, that your championship is decided in this one race because it is just too stupid of a way to decide it. It's just not okay. It's not sport. This is not sport. This is why when drivers don't win, they're not heartbroken. They get on the plane, they go home, and they enjoy their off season. I wouldn't be heartbroken. The fans aren't there's no jeopardy whatsoever. If Denny Hamlin retires without a championship, no one's going to blame him. He competed for the majority of his career in this. Nobody's going to blame him. There's reasons why we don't have multiple champions anymore. There are reasons why, I always say, the race win number and the and the championship number of previous drivers, you're not touching that. Ryan Blaney, who just won the championship, is not going to get near 5 championships, 6 championships, 7 championships. Kyle Larson, as great as he is, he'd be lucky to get 3. Kyle Larson would be lucky as hell to finish his career with 3 championships if this stays. Because it is just, it's unpredictable. It's a lottery. And I actually really like that blackjack comparison. In a game of blackjack, I don't know what the odds are, but they're definitely lesser than 50% that you win, because blackjack is designed for you to lose. But it's greater than 25%. And NASCAR, you have a format where you have to work your ass off all season long, and you have a 25% chance to win the championship. That's just, there's nothing fair about it. The fans see it, the drivers see it, the teams see it. And so what you are doing is you are minimizing the value of your championship. When you minimize the value of your championship, you minimize the value of money that you can make in your sport. You minimize the value of money, you get less sponsorships. You get less title sponsorships. You get less everything. The tracks make less money. People will stop going to the racetracks during the regular season, and instead they'll try to go during the playoffs, or they'll try to get to Phoenix, but you have a 36 race regular season. I'm sorry, one race should not be more important than the other 35. None of this makes sense. It will never make sense. And as soon as this is changed, the better. It won't be changed in 2025. It probably won't be changed in 2026. It probably won't be changed in 2027. Eventually, one day, I will keep beating my goddamn head against this wall, and somebody will listen. You cannot decide a championship in one race. I'm not saying get rid of the playoffs. I'm simply just saying change the name back to Chase for the Cup, because that is unique for you. It's unique for your sport. You can market it for yourself. You can be so much better. You have so much more opportunities, because that is yours, NASCAR. It's yours. It's nobody else's. Playoffs is so generic. You have to understand the value that you have with Chase for the Cup and how much more you can do with it. You have to see that. And that's just a name. That's not even talking about this. It's just a name. And you had it. What Brian France did, what he did, he's done so much stupid stuff in his life, but actually creating the 2004 Chase for the Cup with 10 drivers and naming it the Chase for the Cup, in hindsight, was actually pretty smart. Because guess what? No, you should not go back to a regular season championship format. 36 races is too long. It doesn't fit in modern day with modern social media and modern understanding of what the sports fan wants. And because TikTok is so popular and our freaking brain cells have minimized, we can't comprehend anything longer than a 15-second video. Playoffs are necessary, but you have to understand how you market it. And I'm going to end the video saying Brian France was actually right. 2004, the Chase for the Cup was the most natural, most authentic way of actually deciding a NASCAR Cup Series champion. And in 2024 and beyond, his original idea is the best way to go. He was the one that created the format that you're actually in right now. Go back to the original idea. Just go back to it. It will actually fit a lot better. And this is how you do it. Okay, NASCAR, I'm going to be very simple with you right now. Like I said, 10 drivers. If you don't want to do that for sponsorship reasons, okay. You know what? You want the sponsors will not be happy. We can keep it at 16. That's fine by me. Get rid of winning you're in. We're going to go back to regular season point standings. You are going to keep this format right now. You're going to reward the champion with 15 playoff points, whatever that is. You're going to keep playoff points. Playoff points will stay. So playoff points will be rewarded. You have 4 wins, right? Okay, so Larson will get his playoff points for that. This will stay the same, okay? You will get playoff points for race wins. You will not get win and you're in. No. Win and you're in does not exist. You will get playoff points. You will get playoff points if you win the regular season championship. If you finished second in the regular season championship, you finished third in the regular season championship, you will get playoff points. I don't know why my screen just turned white. From there on out, you calculate the playoff points, and everyone gets into their little seeds, and there you go. 10 races. You eliminate this. You eliminate it. Now, this is where I am flexible. If you want to keep this, we can talk about it. NASCAR fans, everyone, we can talk about it. You want to keep eliminations, you want to keep rounds, we can talk about it. I'm okay with that. I'd prefer 10 races to the end with the playoff points being added and everything else. That was really Brian France's original plan. And instead of the seeding of 5 different points, just give them the playoff points and it will still naturally fall in a pretty decent way. And you go from there. If you want to keep rounds, if you want to if you want more, so like say if you have 16 drivers and after 2 races, like the bottom, 3 are pointless from there on out. If you want certain cutoff marks, like after 3 races, this is eliminated after this is eliminated after this, we can do that. That's completely okay. I'm okay with that. That's fine. This will not be decided in one championship race. It will not. No way. You are not going to be resetting points. Nothing. You reset points once. After 26 races, the final 10 races, you do not reset points. You just eliminate drivers as you go if you want, and the champion is crowned at Phoenix or Homestead or wherever you want the championship race being. That is how the championship format should be, and yeah. That is it. It's very simple. It is not complicated to explain. I don't have to go to a race fan and be like, okay, so by the way, so you have to win your in, and then after that, there's stage points, and then there's also something called, no, forget stage points. There's also playoff points, and then they carry over, right? So actually, once you get through round 1, your playoff points carry over. So, but then the points technically reset. So if you had like a 100-point lead after round 1, that kind of goes away. You go back to your playoff point lead, okay? And then you go to round 12, and then you do it again, and then it resets again, and then it resets again, and then by the way, at the end of the season, all your points are wiped out. It doesn't matter whatsoever. Everyone's on the same level of points, and in the final race, whoever finishes the best wins. Do you get it? Yeah, no, that's actually quite stupid. I don't understand what you're actually talking about. All right, so it's as simple as this. We cut it to 16, 10, whatever, however many drivers you want. You cut it off, 10 races, boom. Playoff points carry over, 10 races, certain numbers are eliminated, and we're off. Off we go. There you go. That's it. It took me about, 10 seconds to explain? All right, champion, there you go. Champion will be deserved, value to the championship will be reinstated, and that is that. Stop calling it playoffs, call it the chase for the cup. NASCAR, the sooner you get this done, the better. I am sweating. I now need to go take a shower because I decided to make this video that I've been talking for almost 50 minutes. I thought I was going to talk for 20, but I just went on one yapping rant. If you fell asleep to this, I am sorry. Hopefully you have been entertained. NASCAR, if you want to talk about it, we can talk. Listen, we can talk, man. Get your competitive committees, your competition committees, whoever creates this format, whoever's in charge of this, because I definitely know it's not Brian France. His actual idea at the beginning is technically what it should be. Just with a few tweaks with stage points and playoff points, and you are off on your way. That's what it should be. Take care of yourselves. I'm tired. Goodbye.